Got the memory cards in, guys.
Got the memory cards. Yeah, where should we start, Laura?
I don't know, right?
Although it's serious, the whole process has been quite lighthearted.
Yeah.
But sort of quite uplifting.
Do you want me to be more serious?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because I'm not very serious.
No. Okay, so Laura, a few people will be wondering why we're sitting here today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why we're here?
Yeah, so we're pretty excited to be here to announce the fact that MoMac is buying Create. And I suppose it's just nice to give it some time to talk about what that means for us personally and also what that means for our staff, our team and our clients and, building a cool future.
It is very exciting. But maybe before we get into the future, should we take it back and maybe hear a little bit about your story and your Create journey? Because, some people don't know that it's been around for nearly 30 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so my first interaction with Create was as a customer. I discovered how to use Photoshop elements when needing to make some birthday invitations for my kids. They were just young. The designers and Lisa all commented on how cool the birthday invitations look. And they said to me, this is really cool design. And I thought, what do you mean cool design? It's just a kid's birthday invitation. And they said, no, that's like graphic design. That's what we do in here. We make stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. I just need 10 copies. And I think I paid $20 or something and went on my way. But anyway, one thing sort of led to another. My friends saw the invitations that I'd made and then they started to ask me for invitations for their kids. And so I would frequent to Create quite often. One day I was in the shop and Lisa was pulling her hair out a little bit and she just said, oh, I just love someone to help me, like take the money to the bank or go get some milk or just clean the shop. Like it always looks like such a mess in here. And I thought, oh, maybe I could help you. I would just take out paper scraps and go and get the milk and stuff like that. And then I quickly kind of fell in love with the whole environment and the whole vibe of the business. And just I started to see people's ideas being brought into the shop and then coming to life. And that excited me. And one thing led to another. And one of the designers was getting ready to finish up and then something else happened and they didn't have any graphic designers. And so it was kind of like, well, Laura, you're up. You've got to design a business card. I found my feet and when the kids were sleeping at night, I would just YouTube stuff and just teach myself the things that I wanted my brain to be able to, convert into design. So and then one thing led to the next and I was the lead designer there and people were happy with the work that I was doing. They were happily paying for it. They were coming back for more and they were telling their friends. The owner that I was working for at the time, he was slowly becoming frazzled and had heaps of things on his plate, and Tim, being an ideas kind of man, sort of said, well, how about it? Why don't we buy Create? And so we began that process and it's been, an amazing journey to take what he had started, 28 something years ago and keep it alive in the community because as I say, I could see what good it brought to the community, particularly the business community, and helping people achieve what they want to achieve, but then helping the team, be seated in a job and in a space and in a culture that they're happy and proud to be in is probably like my second biggest, highlight of being a business owner. So we've had some cool years here in this building, giving it a new lease of life and
So you're someone that I really value highly as a designer and someone that's super creative. Where did it come from?
I think it came from my mum and maybe her mum, my granny. Yeah, they were creative. My mum actually trained as a graphic designer while she was pregnant with me. She never got to use her degree because she obviously had me, but that was old school graphic design. That was, like letter presses and stencils and all of that. But she's hugely creative in like textiles and things like that. And so was my grandma. So I think it comes from her.
When you bought the business, what were some of the things that you wanted to do, either as a lead or as a business owner?
Yeah. Well, for me, the biggest thing, and it would still be true today, is I always counted it was a privilege to be invited into the engine room of businesses. Like when people come and they need support with graphic design or printing or need something created to represent their business publicly, I always think that's a privilege to be invited into that, because they say that they value you, they trust you, and I just take that kind of quite seriously. And I used to say that our success could be or was measured by the success of our clients. If they were finding, if they were achieving the outcomes that they were setting out to achieve because of our help, that was a win for us. Yeah.
And the team and the culture is like something that I've always observed. Like your team's incredible and they're incredibly loyal, as well as talented. Yeah. How have you fostered that and how have you maintained that? Because, us buying the business, like we're incredibly lucky and fortunate to have that team and the team stay on, including yourself. How have you done it?
I think just by being me, being myself. One thing I always say to people when I'm interviewing them or, in the early stages of getting to know them, I always try to make it clear that, you're here for most of your waking hours in the day. It's got to be a place that you love to come. It's got to be somewhere that you feel comfortable, that, you can just be you. And that fosters that kind of environment, I think. And we're just here to have fun and we're here to do good work together. And it rubs off on the clients as well. They can kind of come in and be a little bit silly while they're getting the things done that they need.
Business, it can be tough and it can be stressful and it can be long.
Yeah.
Maybe just tell us just a little bit about that.
So you're right. It can be. It has been stressful and it has been long. Your biggest strengths can be your biggest weaknesses as well. And just that off-the-cuff nature that I have has got me to where I am today. But I feel like my term of leadership and the capacity that I have been is kind of coming to a close. That's where the concept really of selling Create came from, not for falling out of love with the industry or anything like that. Like I'm still hugely passionate about the work that we do and the people that work for the company. And I'm just really excited for this new season of being able to continue to lead people in a different capacity in the areas that, recharge me, in more in the creative space. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Create is still your baby, if you like. Yeah. How hard was the decision?
Yeah, extremely hard because it's become part of my identity, really, in a way. It's become a huge part of who I am. And even, for my family, they've been very interested in this process as well and what's going to happen next. And but it's so, like I said before, it's so important to me that it's not just sold to anyone. That it's not just, a commodity that someone can buy if they choose. It's, when we were coming to grips with the fact that this was the right thing to do and what we needed to do next, MoMac was the first, thing to come to mind. Not thing, you're not a thing. It was the first company to come to mind, because I feel that there's an alignment there, and I have enjoyed the healthy competition that you've brought to Rangiora. There's been a mutual respect there, and I felt that from you, and I've also, extended that to you as well. And just the alignment, and I could also see that there were aspects of Create, that we could bring to strengthen the MoMac offering, and vice versa. The things that you guys do really well are things that we don't do. So it was just a natural decision, really. Yeah. And obviously I couldn't force you to buy it. It had to feel like your idea.
Oh no, it was definitely idea. And I think it's like a good point. We also looked at you guys as our biggest competition and biggest threat. Yeah. And I mean it like as the biggest compliment, because we really did admire the work that you guys produced, and they always had a different style and a different flavour to what we were doing. And from my perspective, like, it's something that I'd thought about even well before the business came onto the market. Yeah. And it was sort of like a little bit of a dream of mine that, man, it would be awesome to one day join forces. So, like, as cliche as it sounds, but it is a bit of a dream come true.
Oh, yeah, same. And that's a moment.
Yeah. and on that one as well, like, I do think it's important for people to know that for purchasing the business, like, it was only ever going to go ahead if you came aboard. And so there was an element of, we had to sell MoMac to you as well. It wasn't a one-way transaction. And we also needed to sell MoMac to your team, because without the people, there is no Create. And so, like, I'm super thankful that you and the team are all coming on board as well.
Yeah, and they're definitely excited, for what's new. Because, the closeness of our team as we have journeyed, through the peaks and the troughs, and they've seen the weight of that on me, and they're excited for the future of being able to partner with just new skill sets. And it is a natural thing as you grow as a creative. It's only natural to want to try different styles and see if it's going to stick, and if it's part of what your offering is going to be. And that's what essentially refines us as creatives and helps us to find our voice and what our, creative footprint is going to leave. So it's only natural to explore, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know, because there will be unique creative footprints, that operate within your office that don't, currently in mine. And I'm just really looking forward to merging them all together and seeing what, good fruit comes from that. So that's obviously a little bit about me and what I've been up to. Tell me about you. Like, how did MoMac start? Why did that happen for you?
When I've been sort of interested in photos and videos for some time, and particularly when we were younger, so I'm talking like primary school, into primary school, and we were right into skating. And with that sport, there's always an element of expressing and a little bit of like showing off. So there's a lot of filmmaking that gets associated with those sort of sports. And it was pretty much from there where I got a bit of a taste for it and really got interested. But it never was a thing that was like, oh, I'm going to be making videos one day. When I was in my early 20s, and basically, so I had a job working on drilling rigs in the mines, and it was quite a good paying job, and it allowed me to explore it as a hobby further, because I'd never had my own camera gear or anything like that. It was always borrowed. And you know, even in the early days, you know, they were horrendous, and it was using Movie Maker at the start and just silly transitions and stuff like that. But at the time, you know, like it was quite unique, and, you know, in terms of our friends and stuff, we loved watching the videos that I'd put together. And they would say to me all the time, like, oh, you should do it as a job and as a career. And for me, I never really thought that it would be a reality, because the thought of going back to school, you know, it
Not
just
for
never
me.
really interested me.
Yeah.
And so even though it was like a really good compliment, but it was still never a thing that I thought I would ever pursue as a job. Fast forward, then I moved to Brisbane, and in Brisbane there was a period of time where I sort of stopped making videos and capturing content and sort of just went about life. And I sort of started looking inwards about, like, you know, things that made me happy and things that maybe I should like challenge myself and things that I should explore. And traveling was that thing. And it was solo traveling, which was like pretty daunting. You know, the thought of doing something by yourself, you know, was quite unusual to me. You know, you think that you need to do everything with someone. And I decided to take my cameras with me, which actually the spark came back for the love of video and for the love of telling stories. Basically, MoMac was founded from the idea of, if I just turn the camera around and point it away from myself and point it at others, maybe I can make them look cool, and maybe I can get them the engagement and the recognition, if you like, that I was getting. And that was basically the concept. And so it all came, like the idea literally came overnight. So I rang Ricky. Shout out to Ricky. He was, you know, a co-founder at the start, and I just pitched the idea to Ricky. I said, hey, I think we can make videos for businesses and post them on social media, and I think they'll get a lot of attention, which will in turn will help them promote themselves and market themselves. Our business plan at the start was basically to build a portfolio of videos, and we were going to do it all for free, and we were going to do it for 6 months and not charge anyone. And the idea that hopefully after 6 months, you know, somebody would look at our work and go, hey, you guys see some value and go, actually, you guys are quite good. And it was a side hustle. You know,
I can relate to that. Yeah, similar.
Yeah. You know, I was working, or we were both working on drilling rigs, and we would come home from Australia, you know, here to Rangiora and make videos. So we came back for our first stint, which was just before our Christmas. And we made about 6 videos for different businesses. And straight away we just started getting inquiries, you know, and the inquiry was, hey, I really like your video, how much? So we put a price forward, you know, for that first video, and we thought it was quite a lot of money, you know, $1,000 for this video, basically almost a made up number. And they accepted. And from there, that was basically the start of a business. You know, it just seemed to me like an absolute no-brainer.
Were you called MoMac by this time?
Sorry, I did miss a part in the story. When I rang Rick and I told him about the business idea, I said, look, I've even got the name. It's your last name and my last name joined together.
There it is.
Yeah, so MoMac is Moya and McDonald. We couldn't have MC, so we had to go Mac.
Yeah, it works.
And it rolled off the tongue.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. The first time I ever saw the MoMac brand, the OG MoMac brand, was hugely large on the side of the ute. And I was like, oh, what is this? What is this? And then I think it was shortly after that you might have come and seen me at Create down the road there.
Like, I remember coming into the shop, and, you know, like I was still working out of mum and dad's lounge. And so coming into your office or into your space, you know, it was very serious, you know, and, you know, so I looked up to you like, wow, this is a real business.
Yeah, and I'm just like, hey, come in.
So like, you know, even though like you were quite relaxed, you know, the way I perceived it was, this is a proper business. You know, I was still so infant and just figuring it out. And, you know, like in the early days, I couldn't afford to be anywhere other than mum and dad's lounge. And it was like, if it wasn't for them, like I don't think the business would have started, because, you know, in the early days when you've got no clients, there is no income, and every little bit of income you get is literally just enough to pay. Exactly. And it's kind of ironic because they are still some of my favourite times, you know, working out of mum and dad's lounge. And I don't know, even though you have nothing, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. And that is what happens, isn't it? You just, and I see it all the time with the businesses that we work with locally and, you know, nationally, and just ranging from particularly those grassroots ones. They do just do what they can to, you know, to get the job or to, make the sale it's interesting seeing businesses, particularly in the local community, come to us at different life cycles of where they're at. You know, I think that there's something really special about this community, you know, Rangiora as a business community. And I don't know about you, but I've really loved being part of it. And I think there's some, you know, hearing our stories, there's similar crossovers. They're different, but the theme that's kind of coming through for me is the passion is there, and people notice that passion, and that's what they're drawn to, and that's what they value. And I mean, how do you find being in business in Rangiora? What do you love most about it?
I do have a lot of pride in knowing that what we're doing isn't normal. You know, having a marketing agency of this size in a town that's got, 20,000, 30,000 maybe, if you look at the catchment area, is quite unusual. But it's the same thing that serves us so well. And, you know, it was explained to me, you know, by someone, you know, they said MoMac, you know, it's got that small town charm about it. And I think it does resonate with a lot of people. So locals very much like to deal with locals. And I think a lot of our clients in the big cities, they like that feeling of working.
Coming home to do something.
Coming home. Yeah. And, you know, like we've never been corporate, and it's not because like we don't want to be corporate. It's just by default.
You just can't take it out of the country, out of the,
Yeah, and it's kind of like something that, you know, it was also explained to me like by one of our clients that it was something that he loved about us was, you know, he'd worked with the suits, he'd worked with the big corporates, and he just felt that working with us, it was real, you know, and approachable, and, you know, there wasn't all these layers.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to all of those things that you've said as well. And it is just nice to provide that service for people that are in the hustle and bustle of the city, but they might live out here and they can do business, you know, on their way into work or on their way home from work. And it's pretty cool as well, not being bound by location alone. You know, we can service clients anywhere in the country, and so having the bricks and mortar in our industry is important, particularly with the print side of things, because it's a physical product, but also just having that, you know, reach to partner with people around the country is really cool too, isn't it?
Yeah. And I guess we should talk about the future and what that looks like, and what, you know, the coming together of MoMac and Create looks like, and what maybe people can expect.
So I mean, as I touched on earlier, the passion for the industry for me hasn't dwindled. at all. I'm still just as excited about helping people pull together a new brand identity and, seeing them pick up their business cards for the first time. All of that stuff, like I'm still really wildly excited about that. And the fact that I still get to do that now with MoMac is a huge win for me. And I think as well for my team, that we, the close kind of bonds that we've built gets to stay in place, and we get to make new friends with the MoMac team. And also for my clients, like my dear beloved clients, like they can still deal with me should they choose. Because the clients, like I said before as well, the clients and the team is what has made it for me. And there's been some real lifelong friends that have come out of, just doing business together. Regardless of whether these people will need my services, now or in the future, I'll still happily and gratefully call them friend. And so to be, given the opportunity, I suppose, to continue to be part of the journey, that's really a win. Yeah.
Somebody asked about, buying the business and why did Laura sell? And, the best way to explain it, or the way I like to explain it, is you're basically passing on the baton. And so for us, we get to pick up that baton and run with it and protect and honour what you've built. But at the same time, I'm also passing the baton back to you in terms of the creative director. So it's something that I guess I've been that person at MoMac and looked over all of the various projects. And so for me, I get to focus more with the content team and then more, if you like, strategically, thinking about the business and how we drive it forward. So, the role creative director, like I'm extremely excited and honoured for you to take that role and to join our team and to actually do a better job than, what I've done or could have done, myself. So like for our clients, I'm most excited about, the sort of work that we can provide them moving forward. And then likewise with our team, the opportunities through their own growth that you're going to bring them and that you're going to facilitate. So, overall, the actual opportunities for the future are like incredibly exciting.
Yeah. And one of the things that we get paid to do sometimes is come up with taglines and or a slogan or a catchphrase or something like that. But the thing that's been coming to my mind throughout this whole process is that, we're better together. And I do really believe that to be true, that, our service offering is going to be better because we're together. My clients, it's obvious to say, but, there's services that you've provided that we haven't and vice versa. And that's just a natural progression. But I think there's something to be said as well about, when we're a caretaker of someone's brand, the less hand off that actually has, if there's certain things that we haven't been able to do, like produce a video or, something like that, we've had to hand that client over to another service provider, which, they've been taken great care of and all of that. But it's a moment of risk. Like there can be an element of risk to that the integrity of that brand can be diluted with that process. And, so along with the added services, I am most excited about just being able to house the brands that we care for under one roof more so, and providing that, even deeper level of a full service creative agency in its definition, really. I see clients that invest sometimes, thousands and thousands of dollars in a brand only to, hand it over to someone who doesn't know how to care for it properly or, follow the guidelines or respect the creative parameters that it's been carefully constructed under. And I get really sad about that because I'm like, that's just such a wasted investment, and it's something that I'm deeply passionate about is just protecting the authenticity of brands and how they've been designed to represent the company that they represent. So for me, I think, the merge and us joining forces just that's a huge benefit really for our clients on that level. For us to create a visual identity, to print their business cards, to make their pens, to create their videos, to look after their social media and their email marketing and, all of that. It's a huge benefit to, the local community, but also further.
Yeah, I think that you summed it up perfectly. Like I couldn't have said it better myself. And, if we look at the two teams, and I'll start with the team that you've built and that you've created and fostered. Their passion for what they do was immense, and the excitement at the idea of MoMac and what it could look like for them and, what it could unlock for them in terms of their careers. As you reminded me, what I'm most confident about is if we have the team and the ability, then essentially we can conquer the world with this team. And I think that was, the most important thing.
Yeah. And shout out to, my team. I told them and their response was just amazing. Like they were happy for me. They were like, Laura, this is the right thing for you to be doing. Like it's sad, but it's happy and it's all of these things. And I couldn't have done it without them. Like I really couldn't have. And they've just been so gracious towards me throughout this time and so supportive and so loyal. And I'm just wrapped that they get to continue to be part of, this next part of the story because, they just deserve all the happiness and, all the opportunities. And as I'm sure, your team as well, I'm just so looking forward to getting to know them and finding out, what makes them tick and what they want to achieve and what they're passionate about. And I think, again, like I said, it's a position of privilege when you can get to speak into someone's, creative space and just their hopes and their dreams, and you can get to be part of that. So it's really an awesome thing.
It is. Yeah. And when I think about the two teams coming together, for me, culture has always been a top priority. That respect that everyone's got for each other, because we all have slightly different interests and
quirks and
different quirks and different hobbies. But what I love is that people genuinely care about each other and, will show interest in each other. Yeah. And so for your team, thinking about them and when we're going through this process, they were just going to slot in. And I know that likewise, our team, will welcome them with open arms. Yeah. Like they've been there forever. So, I am really excited about the two teams coming together and I don't know, just having a good ride and a good time together.
And doing some great work along the way. Yeah, definitely.
So something, to me that is extremely important is what it means for our clients. And I think for me, the fact that we're able to offer more. And so for our clients, having trust and faith, that we can deliver on a wide range of design projects is pretty special. And, being able to bring print in-house, it's not something that we've focused a lot on in the past. But that is something that I'm very passionate about and very excited about. So basically being able to cater to more of their needs is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting some of your clients, the MoMac clients, and getting to know them, and looking at things with a fresh, set of eyes. There's always, a lot to be said for that. I think my clients would be excited to be looked at by your team with a fresh set of eyes. And I just think, it's a great moment and a great opportunity to just reconnect with people that, we've been on journeys with in different ways and shapes and forms, and just to extend an invitation really to them to come and say g'day and come and see like what the changes are going to be like and what they're going to bring and what's going to be available. I think it's change is as good as a holiday, and like we're changing up some stuff, and there's going to be things that, like you say, a deeper level of offering that is available for the local business community and further. So yeah, it's been like quite a journey getting to this point. I guess, how would you like to close this off, or what would you like, your clients or people to know? For a start, we should have bought a bottle of champagne. Take two, we'll do that next one. So because there's no champagne, I guess the next thing, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank you, Brian, for your kind words and just your genuine respect, for my work and for my team and what I've built as a business. There's just so much life left in Create. It wouldn't have been right for me to just let it die. Do you know what I mean? And for me to see it being handed over to someone who is just as excited and just as enthusiastic and who is going to, care for it in a similar way to I have is, it makes the decision so much more the easier. So, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was
that was true.
Was really good. Thank you. And from me, thank you, Laura, for giving me the opportunity or us at MoMac, to basically take the baton from you and run with it with you. We are going to carry on and continue the brand, for the foreseeable future. And we want people to know that, we really care about the transition process, and we don't want to, wipe that history, that amazing history and that cool story. So for us, we are treating it like we are custodians of the brand that you've built, and we want people to know that they're in the same good hands that they were before.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Yep. Cut. High five.
High five. High five.
Good job.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's all right.